They told you the Philippines is cheap cost of living, happy people, tropical islands. But what if I told you that behind the paradise are tiny, everyday frustrations that can drive foreigners absolutely insane? Today, we're revealing the little crazy things no one dares to talk about until now. The slow but sure culture shock. When foreigners first arrive in the Philippines, everything feels magical. The smiles are genuine, the sunsets are golden. Even the air feels lighter, like you've escaped the chaos of the West for something simpler, more peaceful. But here's what no one warns you about. Paradise moves slow. And not just slow, Filipino slow. You go to a restaurant, order breakfast. 30 minutes later, your food hasn't arrived. You ask the waiter, and they smile sweetly. "Just a few minutes, sir." 20 minutes later, still nothing. Welcome to the world of Filipino time. A cultural phenomenon where now could mean later, and later could mean tomorrow. Foreigners from punctual countries like Germany, Japan, or the UK lose their minds at first. But for locals, this is normal. Life isn't rushed. There's no stress about being 10 minutes late. For many expats, it becomes a life lesson in patience. For others, it's the start of a slow mental breakdown. One retiree once joked, "Living in the Philippines teaches you Buddhism because you'll either learn patience or you'll explode." This is the first stage of culture shock. You either adapt to the rhythm of mañana time or you spend your days fighting it and losing. The karaoke curse. The karaoke, the national passion of the Philippines. It's not just a pastime, it's a way of life. Picture this. You move into your beautiful home by the beach. The breeze is calm, the air smells like coconut oil and sea salt. You finally feel peace. Then, out of nowhere, "And I will always love you" at 11 p.m. through a 1990s speaker with maximum distortion. You think, okay, maybe it's just one night, but it's every night. Birthdays, weddings, random Saturdays. In fact, you might hear happy birthday sung 10 times in 1 week by people who don't even live in your neighborhood. And here's the thing. Filipinos sing from the heart. They'll belt it like they're auditioning for The Voice, even if it's completely off-key. For locals, it's joy. For foreigners, sometimes it's pure torture. But if you complain, you risk being labeled the grumpy foreigner. The smart expats, they adapt. Some even grab the mic and sing too. Because in the Philippines, you can't beat karaoke. You can only join it. Brownouts, blackouts, and Wi-Fi woes. You're in the middle of an online meeting with your client. Your camera's on, everything's fine. Then suddenly, darkness. Click. The fan stops. The lights flicker. The Wi-Fi dies. Welcome to your first brownout. Brownouts happen more often than anyone admits. Sometimes it's maintenance, sometimes it's the weather, sometimes no one even knows why. If you're lucky, it's over in 15 minutes. If not, you'll spend the night sweating in silence, listening to mosquitoes feast on your ankles. Expats learn to invest in generators and power banks. Some even keep frozen bottles of water to survive the blackout heat. And the internet? Let's just say it's not always unlimited. The word data cap becomes part of your vocabulary fast. You'll spend hours rebooting routers, buying load, and watching videos buffer like it's 2007. For retirees, it's manageable. For digital nomads, it's a nightmare. This is where many foreigners realize that life in paradise isn't always practical.
The yes culture. Nobody says no. This one confuses every newcomer. You ask a local, "Can you fix my sink by tomorrow?" They smile brightly. "Yes, sir, tomorrow." Tomorrow comes, no one shows up. Here's the truth. In Filipino culture, saying no feels rude. There's a concept called hiya, a deep sense of shame and desire to please others. So instead of saying no, people will say yes to avoid awkwardness. But to Westerners, that yes feels like a promise. You plan your schedule around it, only to realize it was never going to happen. It's not lying, it's a cultural misunderstanding. In the West, truth equals respect. In the Philippines, politeness equals respect. Once you understand that, life gets easier. Until then, prepare for a lot of missed appointments and tomorrow, sir, that never comes. Traffic, tricycles, and organized chaos. Foreigners describe Manila traffic as a moving parking lot. It's no exaggeration. A 5-kilometer trip can take 2 hours. Jeepneys stop anywhere to pick up passengers. Tricycles weave through traffic like video game characters. Pedestrians cross wherever they want. There are traffic lights, but sometimes they're just decorations. And when it rains, forget it. Flooded streets, stalled cars, and chaos everywhere. That's why many foreigners avoid big cities. They move to quieter places like Dumaguete, Bacolod, or Tagaytay, where life slows down and the air actually feels breathable. But even in small towns, transportation can be tricky. Some places don't have Grab, some drivers don't give change, and almost everyone asks, "Where are you going, sir?" just to decide how much to charge. It's not malicious, it's just the Filipino way of negotiating on the fly. Bureaucracy and paperwork hell. This one could drive even the calmest foreigner insane. Want to open a bank account? You'll need proof of address, proof of income, your passport, and a utility bill, but you can't get a utility bill until you have a house. It's a loop of logic that feels like it came from a video game side quest. Government offices often have long lines, handwritten forms, and multiple windows. And sometimes, after hours of waiting, the person you need to see is on break. You'll learn 3 survival tools. Bring snacks, bring patience, bring photocopies of everything, at least 5. And the worst part? Even locals struggle with this. That's why Filipinos say with a smile, "Ganyan talaga." That's just how it is. The foreigner price and the wallet game. This one stings. Foreigners quickly realize they're walking, talking price increases. At wet markets, souvenir shops, even for rent, the moment they hear your accent, the price magically doubles. A tricycle ride that costs 30 pesos for locals might suddenly be 100 pesos for you. It's not always out of greed. Sometimes locals genuinely believe foreigners can afford more. But over time, it adds up, and it creates quiet resentment. Smart expats learn to speak a bit of Tagalog or Bisaya. Even just saying magkano po, which means how much, makes vendors hesitate to overcharge. Because when you show effort to connect, respect follows. The emotional weight of being an outsider. Even the happiest expats admit sometimes it gets lonely. People stare at you constantly. Everyone calls you foreigner, even if you've lived there for 10 years. You're part of the community, but never truly of it. Locals are friendly, but deep friendships take time. And many expats end up surrounded by people, but still feeling alone. It's a quiet struggle few talk about, the invisible distance between belonging and visiting forever. That's why some foreigners eventually leave, not because they hate the Philippines, but because they crave the feeling of being understood. The Philippines will test you, your patience, your sanity, and your perspective on life. But if you can laugh at the small stuff, stay humble, and keep an open heart, you might just find yourself falling in love with the madness.